All right, and here we go. Before we get started, let's have introductions from the Boulanger Initiative team, starting with Catherine.
Hello, everybody. My name is Catherine Radakovich, and I'm the Director of Learning and Engagement at Boulanger Initiative. In essence, what I do is oversee all of our education programs and oversee some aspects of the research department and get to work with people like Katie Beth and Emily, who you'll hear from in just a little bit, on cool projects like this.
I'm Katie Beth McKinney. I am the research coordinator here at BI, and I am also the lead author on this Baroque Women curriculum and activity supplement. I'm really excited to share you all of our hard work on this with everyone.
And I'm Emily Morin. I'm the manager of database operations and application development. And basically, I coordinate with our web development partners and the BI database project, which I'll be speaking more about in a few moments, maintain the accounts that are part of the infrastructure of that project and analyze data, and then also get to collaborate with the research team and the rest of the organization on various projects.
Excellent. So if you don't know about Boulanger Initiative, we advocate for women and all gender marginalized composers, and we foster inclusivity and representation to expand and enrich the collective understanding of what music is, has been, and can be. We promote music composed by women through performance, education, research, consulting, and commissions. If you would like to find out more about Boulanger Initiative, you can subscribe to our newsletter on our website. Follow us on all of those good old social platforms, including Etsy, YouTube, Facebook, all of the things. And if you believe in the work that we're doing and want to support us in our mission, please consider contributing through our donations page on our website. And you can find some of those links in the chat if you would like to use those to follow. In the next hour or so, what we're going to do is take you through a deep dive into the Boulanger Initiative contributions of Music Inclusion Hub. But I don't want anybody to forget about the other incredible partners in this project. We have Castle of Our Skins, which is an organization based in Boston, and Decomposed, which is an organization based in Chicago. And we will all be seeing each other actually later this week in Detroit for the Sphinx Connect conference. And we were very fortunate to receive the Sphinx Venture Fund grant this past year for Music Inclusion Hub. So we would not be here without them, and thank them. I think next up we'll have Katie Beth do a general introduction of what the Music Inclusion Hub is.
Great. Hi, everyone. So the Music Inclusion Hub is a joint venture between these amazing organizations that Laura mentioned, such as Castle of Our Skins, Decomposed, and Boulanger Initiative. And we are powered by the Sphinx Venture Fund with the generous support to provide high quality, culturally competent, historically expansive resources that truly embed and normalize racial and gender inclusion for learners of all levels. There's a myriad of offerings that the other groups are providing as well, so definitely be sure to check out the rest of the Music Inclusion Hub.
So our goals through this project: access to tools to provide educators with culturally responsive pedagogical tools and materials, to expose young minds, to show youth and young adults the power of music, storytelling, history, and their connections. A just narrative to bolster a more just and equitable narrative of artistic excellence. And our desired impact is to reach youth of all ages, especially those in their formative years of social awareness, and to shape future leaders by planting the seeds of cultural curiosity and expanding one's understanding of the world at large. And I will add that our contributions, the Boulanger Initiative, are specifically for ninth grade all the way up through lifelong learners and college students. And the other contributions from Castle of Our Skins and Decomposed kind of focus on the younger learners, so second grade up through high school. All right, Katie Beth, walk us through it. How do we use Music Inclusion Hub?
So BI's offerings in the Music Inclusion Hub largely consist of curriculum guides and activity supplements, and then our database, which our amazing Emily will talk about later. Our very first curriculum guide and activity supplement that we have come up with is featuring Baroque era women composers. And so we're going to walk through first the curriculum guide itself and then the activity supplement. These are two different documents and materials, depending on if you end up with print or electronic versions. But the curriculum guide is where we host all the information. This is the textbook, if you will, and the activity supplement is classroom activities and materials for that. So we'll dive in. The curriculum guide aims to present information about the Baroque world, not just the composers that we're featuring. It's not a music history textbook in that here's a motet, here's how to write one, etc. It is much more about the complete Baroque world, with a picture of women's contributions to music, science, literature, visual arts, and other aspects of life. And you'll see that in how we have highlighted things. So the first sections of the curriculum guide are historical context. We dive into the Baroque era, what the world looked like, especially the European world at this time, since that was the Baroque movement was in Europe, and mostly. And so we really share information about things like what Baroque means, of course, but also the wars, religious upheavals, plagues, and other elements of life that were occurring at this time. And then we break into women in music and discuss their contributions, as well as specifically during this period, what their expectations were, what constrictions and obstacles they faced in attempting to make music or be part of music, and what their lives looked like from matters of class and economic status that would really affect how they function on a day-to-day basis. The next sections of the curriculum guide focus on individual composers. Here's an example right here. And we break down information about their lives and share what kind of music they wrote, of course, their education, how they were able to become so skilled in a world that was not entirely welcoming to women and gender marginalized people, especially in music, but in general. And within this, we also break down elements of the world. So we have, of course, key terms like you would expect in any education materials. We cover things like monophony and what an aria is and what opera is, trying to aim for those who might have very little musical knowledge, as well as those who might have some more understanding of terminology. But this is just to make sure the bases are covered. And then we also dive into other parts of the world. Some of the most exciting information I think that we share is the small features of life. So like fashion in the Tuscan court, we also have an insert on fashion in the English court during this period. We have an informational insert about the introduction of the tomato into Baroque Italy and how that became a staple of the diet. Things that you wouldn't necessarily expect in a music offering. However, it's really relevant to the overall experience of what it meant to be a human being during this time in Europe. We also discuss other powerful women and gender marginalized people from this period, and not just musicians and not just composers, but artists and scientists. And I'll show you a couple of examples as we go through. And this just is little screenshots of what it looks like inside the curriculum. And so we have women scientists, so we can cover the bases there. And this is only one of the ones we mentioned. There are many more. We also have women who are writing literature. This is one of the first known women poets in the, well, at the time it was Britain and England. And first English female playwright to have a play performed on the professional stage. We really tried to feature lots and lots of people. So this is not just the cult of genius of women composers. This is how women were making their marks throughout the cultural and scientific world. We also spend quite a bit of time diving into the finer aspects of what it meant to be a woman music maker in Baroque society. One of the ways we talk about is how they were or were not allowed to access the professional music world. We also discuss music that was being made on a domestic level, which is where quite a bit of music was being made. Music that was being made in households by young aristocratic women as part of their training to be, proper wives and mothers. Music that was being made socially in many, many households. Women were making music, and textbooks prior to now have not acknowledged this. So we really try to bring that into our pages. So that's the gist of the curriculum guide. It's quite extensive. I think it wound up being very many pages, which is great. And then on top of that, we have our activity supplement, and this is where you're going to have additional content for exploration. It's going to include exercises, discussion prompts, games, and more, so that it can really be tailored to your individual needs in your classroom or in your individual life. And then each activity is going to include information about the learning objectives of each activity and what materials are required, if it's a more difficult task aimed towards a collegiate level or towards high school, and if we're touching on any other subject matter like history, economics, social issues, etc. And we have these delineated for you with very handy little icons. So if there's a globe next to the activity, it really deals with history and economics. If there's a quill, it's going to involve writing or shares information about literature and language. We have activities that are for performing in front of the classroom, having students get up and speak to their peers, or I'll show you some examples, but dramatic readings for their classmates. And we have things like with a paintbrush that shows if it's an artistic activity, and anything that's focused on music primarily has the music note. So here's an example of one of our projects that kind of covers several of these realms. So you can see here that we have level A delineated here, which is for a more high school level. So we have two versions of this project fair activity, one for a collegiate, one for the high school. And on top of that, we believe it deals with topics from history and art and performing, since there's a presentation element. And there's creativity involved in creating a presentation. So we got those little icons here that show you that they touch all of these bases. And then within the learning objective, we talk about all of the goals the students should be able to accomplish, what they're going to be getting out of from this activity. And then we also list all of the materials you should need. In this case, it would be the assignment sheet for the students to read, poster board, or some kind of visual aid as part of the presentation. And then there are teacher instructions that share what the instructions for the activity are. And we have many different styles of activity within the supplement that go from classroom discussion questions, dealing with all kinds of topics. These are just basic, starting points to lead your students through discussions of things that were happening during the time, what they took out of the reading, and any other key elements that you may want to incorporate with your class. And on top of that, we also have elements of handouts. Of course, we've got a crossword puzzle and a word search. Very easy to pass out to your classroom. Say, here you go, do this assignment now that you've done the reading. They deal with key terms from the reading and key subject areas. And then we also have really fun things like this dramatic reading handout. This is a very small sampling of this handout, but it's source materials taken from the curriculum and from other primary sources, with the goal of having the student perform this reading so that they can really share their style with their classmates. Then we have other projects. Here are a couple of examples here. This one on the far left is part of a handout that would be printed out, so you could make a bulletin board with your class. You could put in key facts, put up information about the world, and print these out and have it decorated beautifully. Then we have in the middle here a worksheet that could be a handout to draw still life, since we touch on the Dutch art styles of the Baroque period, and have students engage with their classroom and engage with the artistic world as we go. And here's a graphic of the project fair as well. We also have activities that center technology and things that are very relevant in today's day and age. This is an illustration from our short form video project, where students would pretend to be a PR representative and make a marketing reel for one of their chosen composers. There's also very specific musical aspects here, and we thank Dr. Paula Maust for her contributions to the music theory element of the activity supplement. These are from one of her materials where we ask, there's different levels of music theory questions, some aimed towards beginners, some aimed towards more advanced. We also have elements of group singing. So this on the far right would be from the activity where they try and read Baroque notation, which would be challenging for me as a horn player, in addition to anyone in high school, I'm sure. And then we have your standard worksheet and quiz, covering vocabulary, allowing for the easy testing, as well as students' retention of knowledge. There are many, many more activities that are in this supplement. This is just a small sampling. And then at the end of this supplement, we have the long list of composers, which we've covered as many Baroque women composers as we could find. I think it wound up being 50 something, which is a pretty impressive number. And some of them have little fun facts pulled out to the side. And you can see our featured composers have little tiny versions of their graphic here, so you know that they're in our supplement or in our curriculum guide. And also in the appendices, we have a glossary for easy access to all of those key terms from the guide, as well as a bibliography should you like to chase down more information, should your students be really enthusiastic and want more reading, they will have that option. And then at the very back is the back of their heads, which I think is great. If you would like to purchase the activity supplement or the curriculum guide, they are available on the BI's website. We have them currently as digital editions, but we will be releasing print editions in the future once we have finished up our final editing process for that material. And then now I think Emily's going to share with us a little bit about the database.
Yes, thanks, Katie Beth. So a little bit about the Boulanger Initiative database. This is an open access and inclusive resource that we launched and brought live onto the web back in March 2023. So going on a year ago. And our tagline is "Be Curious." So it's really designed for anyone who wants to learn at any age about women and gender marginalized composers and their music, performers, educators, conductors, researchers. And so we're really trying to give as much information as we can and provide a jumping off point for learning about these composers. And so you can use this database to look up the composers who are in the Baroque era curriculum and other composers from the same time period, same parts of the world, or just like explore and let your curiosity guide you. Right now, we happen to have 1,343 composers on the public database site right now, and 9,822 works by the composers. So very exciting. We're nearing 10,000 there. And now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just give a couple of examples of using the database. Give me just one moment. All right. Feel free to let me know in the chat or otherwise if you're not able to see. But there are a couple ways you can get to the database. You can get there through the Music Inclusion Hub website, musicinclusionhub.com/database. You can also get there through Boulanger Initiative's website. So on the same page here where you see the curriculum guide and activity supplement, you have this button to check out the database. And that'll bring you to this page through BI, which gives some more information, just an overview of the database and our launch video. So when you click access, you get to this page, and there are a number of ways to kind of like find what you're looking for. So say if you're looking for, let's say, works by Elizabeth Jacquet de la Guerre, one of the composers who Katie Beth was just mentioning, is in our curriculum guide. I can either search up here or I can search composers. So if I start typing Elizabeth, there she is. And then so I've found 45 works, and you can go through here and use the pages at the bottom. And skip as much as you want to. I think I actually added her harpsichord suites a while ago. But if you want to narrow these down some more, let's say you're looking for vocal music, and you see there's one piece for mezzo-soprano voice, and you can go ahead and narrow that down, and you have the cantata Esther. So you can click any of these links here to get to a score, or this is on a German publisher, Furore, who sells a lot of her music. And there's a WorldCat record for library holdings of this work as well. I have my location set to Boston because that's where I live, but you can set it to wherever you are. There's CD information, and then there are links for a lot of, oh, this wants to open my Spotify, but you get the idea. It's a whole album, and an ad on YouTube, but will be a video from performance. So yeah, just one example of how you can filter and search and find what you're looking for. And this will show you everything that we have for mezzo soprano voice once you get rid of the composer. So it's another way to go. Let's see. Back in the composers tab, say you're looking for just like the range of life of some Baroque era composers, like plus or minus a few years. You can use this refine by birth year slider up here to take you to, I don't know, let's say 1500-ish, maybe a little bit before that. Say we want like a wide range there, and then born no later than maybe like early to mid 1700s. So you can see there are quite a few results. You'll notice that some of the composers don't actually have works currently in the database. So there's an option for you to use the submit a work form to help us out, and you can contribute and be part of this. And this will pull up a form that will see whatever you're sending in. And yeah, it's just taking a moment to load. But there it is. Yeah, and there are a few instructions at the top. And we have a similar form for submitting new composers to the database. And you can use both of these forms to add new information to records that we already have. Say you find a recording of a work that like we haven't added yet, but you know about it and want to send it in. That's fantastic. We'd love to have help. And there, yeah, quite a few ways to contribute here. So let's see. My floating Zoom controls are blocking the nav up here, but we also have help pages that you can go that will kind of guide you through the ways to use the site, and some frequently asked questions that we have, and best practices, and those will take you back to the BI database hub. And as I mentioned, there are those submit a work, submit a composer forms. We also have a general feedback form. So if you really love using the site and want to say so, if you have some constructive feedback for us on like the interface or accessibility issues, or like anything that comes to mind, please don't hesitate to let us know. We also have report an issue, which can be anything from like a bug on the website to like inaccurate information, or just anything that seems off. Like just, yeah, give us a holler. Right. So let's see. You can also, reach out to us about volunteering to help build the database. We are a small research team, and we love to have more hands on deck. So yeah, feel free to get in touch. And coming soon in the future, I'll stop the share for now, but we have information about countries and states for composers right now, but one of the things that we're excited to be sharing soon is more detailed information about where composers, various locations that they're connected to in the world, like where they were born and where they lived or studied. And so hoping to fill out as much of that as possible and share it very soon in an upcoming phase. I think that was my spiel. Feel free to any questions about the database. We have a Q&A portion coming up soon. So yeah, with that, I'll turn it back over to Katie Beth and team.
So at this time, I know we have one of the other Music Inclusion Hub contributors here. Wanted to see if she wanted to share anything about what Castle of Our Skins is working on.
Hi, sure. Ashley Gordon from Castle of Our Skins, Artistic Director. I'll just be sort of a voice of God if that's okay. But our contribution to the hub is more on the elementary side. So we have 3 of what will be 10 music scores that have been published for string students, largely elementary, middle school age string students, ranging from themes around African American spirituals, Dominican and Haitian folk songs, abolitionists, etc., all of which have curriculum guides that are associated with them, in addition to some teaching artistry work, currently for viola, and then eventually for violin, for cello, and mixed ensemble that tells the stories of different figures in Black history for young learners. It's highly interactive and has a variety of really beautiful illustrations that also go along with it. But our side is, again, on the earlier side, knowing that there is a mix of things in the Music Inclusion Hub for a variety of aged learners and a variety of subjects that are um, related to music, but certainly extend beyond music, such as history and social sciences and geography and things like that. So excited to be here with our team, Boulanger.
Thank you, Ashley. Sorry, I threw you on the spot there. So one thing we can share before we move into questions is the expansion of this project, which we're really excited. Only those of you who are here will know this for now, until we fully announce. But the next subjects we're going to be featuring in our subsequent curriculum guides and supplements are suffragette composers of the United States and UK. And then we're going to be working on composers from the Chicago Renaissance. So it's going to be really exciting, branching out of subjects, and we cannot wait to share them with you.
I also just want to say, if there are any subjects, themes, topics, eras, countries, anything that people are really amped up about getting a curriculum guide for, please let us know. Give us a shout out. And we have, before we move to the Q&A, I wanted to let people know about the next 2 virtual events that we have tomorrow night. Dr. Paula Moust will be presenting more information specifically on some of these women era composers, women Baroque era composers, going a little bit more in depth on some of them. And then the following week, we will be doing a Wikathon, which is our monthly Wikipedia edit-a-thon, during which we take people through the process of how to update a Wikipedia page, and we'll be focusing specifically on some of these Baroque era women composers. And you can act as citizen artists and help us contribute by helping us update some of those pages. So I just put the link in the chat. If anybody wants to sign up for either of those events, we'd love to see you there as well.
I think at this time we'll open it up for questions. If anyone has anything, please either message in the chat or feel free to unmute and ask.
Marianne Cordas from Andrews University in Berrien Springs, Michigan. I've just been really excited to see the development of this project and you adding team members and so forth. I'm curious about what you mentioned about the Chicago Renaissance. What do you define as that? And I'll explain why I'm interested in a moment.
Yeah, so the plan is to come up with a team specifically for each curriculum, that we have people with knowledge very specific to that era. So we will work together. The first thing we'll do is work together as a team to come up with the definition of that. So until that's finalized, I won't share what that is, because we're still working on that, but stay tuned. Again, if you subscribe to our newsletter, you'll know as soon as things go public like that.
Yeah, because I think that's really great. I'm working with my colleague Emily Hoyler O'Hare. She's in the process of writing a history of the Musicians Club of Women in Chicago. My own work focuses and scholarship focuses on Blythe Owen, who spent the core of her career in Chicago, was a member of Musicians Club of Women. And I currently have an honors student writing a paper on Musicians Club of Women, Florence Price and Blythe Owen, because some of Blythe Owen's papers live here at Andrews University, and have insights into some other composers that she was working with. She did her doctorate under Howard Hanson at Eastman, and was probably within the first 10 to 15 women to get a doctorate in composition in the US. So,
Amazing.
and you read her correspondence, it's just like, she's always like one step away. She's like, oh yeah, my piano teacher is like the first piano teacher. He's student of Debussy, second piano teacher, student, friend of Ravel, third piano, did the requisite summer at La Boulangerie, with Nadia, you know, in 49. So seeing people do this kind of project with my more music librarian side and the information architecture, this is just really great. So
Thanks, Marianne. Thanks
I'll
for
be
joining us. And I will say we will be doing a public call for curriculum developers. So if you know people or if you are people who want to be a part of this, please answer that call and we'll definitely reach out. We can use as much help with this as possible. You can see how much of a massive undertaking this is.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else have questions? If you want to stick it in the chat or speak up. Excellent. I will say that, you know, when we were building not just this specific curriculum, but the project as a whole, we really wanted to make sure that this is a one-stop shop. So even if, you know, a high school teacher who doesn't teach music specifically and doesn't know anything about the Baroque era wanted to use this, that they can, you know, get enough information from this one place that they don't have to go out and do further reading about the Baroque era or about composers or about music, that they can really use this for their students and have everything they need, all the way up to, you know, musicology teachers and theory teachers in college being able to take this and supplement into, if they use the Grout book for music history or something, that it would be very easy to be able to just supplement this into their teaching so that they're not having to go and do the work themselves, because way too many people are having to do that and spend time and energy when they should be able to just focus on doing what they do and teaching their students. And, you know, even though it's called a curriculum guide, I still believe that this is a book, a place for learning, that it's not just for students, but for anybody who's interested in any of these topics. And, you know, most textbooks are not super engaging to read. It's not something that a lot of people do, just go and, you know, spend their free time reading a textbook. But this really is engaging to read, and it's something that really, I think, activates your curiosity and is so expansive and, you know, dives into so many sociopolitical elements that it really is fun to read, and it's not dry and all of that, you know, grout-ish. Not to just put down grout, because it's most of them, but you know, those old textbooks that everyone uses over and over again. I also want to give a massive shout out to everyone who has been involved with both the database and the curriculum portion. And Music Inclusion Hub as a whole. This represents thousands upon thousands of hours of really hard work, and, you know, developing the ideas from the beginning to actually getting something in writing and printed is really incredible. So I just wanted to acknowledge everyone who was a part of this. And if I tried to spend time going through every single person, we would be here for a very long time, because it's been dozens and dozens of people. So I won't bore everybody with that, but just to say a massive thank you to everyone who has been a part of this. Are there any other questions before we wrap up? All right. Well, I will say we have one sample that has been printed, and I've been diving through this, and it is just such a gorgeous thing to see in print, and that will be available hopefully in the next month. We have a few tweaks that we have to make sure work with a printed version before we do that. And then we will make sure that if schools want to purchase these, that we have bulk purchase available so that it's, you know, more affordable. And we want to make sure that everybody has access to this. So if somebody can't afford what's either available digitally or in print, just to please reach out to the team and let us know. And then I will again just say, if you believe in the work that we're doing, obviously with all of the hours and people who go into this, it's also very expensive. So if you would like to and are able to support us, please do donate to us. And you can also see all of our cool, fun merchandise items on Etsy. And we actually have stickers, but we also have, I wanted to show specifically the Baroque one, our newest Christmas ornaments, which also can be used as a keychain, kind of cool. So go check out those things. You can see some of the posters right behind me, right there, that come with a booklet. That's really cool. I do see a question in here. What artists are involved? So there is one illustrator who does all of our work, and her name is Chelsea Hill. She's part of the team. If you want to get in touch with her, you can reach out to us and we can share her information as well.
This is her work behind me, from the curriculum guide of some viols, which are incredible.
Yeah, and I will also say we have our annual music festival coming up April 12th, 13th, 14th in North Bethesda, Maryland, and we will have conversations about the Baroque era. We will have performances by Baroque musicians all the way up through new jazz musicians. So it's a full 3 days of fun and topics and composer workshops and everything you can possibly imagine. Some of those events will actually be offered virtually. So you can live stream them, or you can come visit us in person and come meet the team and all of these amazing composers and musicians. All right. Any other questions? Beautiful. Katie, Beth, Catherine, Emily, anything else to add?
I realized we didn't explain the title of Beyond the Box into the Barlands. I wasn't sure if you wanted to take a second and catch that.
I'll bet somebody here could guess, but Katie, Beth, please explain.
Sure. So I didn't have the Grout when I was in college, but we used the Norton, but very similar textbook style. You get a full chapter about a historical period in music with features of composers. Let's take Baroque, for example. We would have probably a very big feature on Monteverdi, moving into Renaissance and things like that, and things on Perry. And then there would be one little tiny box over here for Barbara Strozzi that would be like 4 sentences and just kind of hanging out over here. So our goal with this project was to pull the amazing women and gender marginalized people who have been in the boxes of textbooks and bring them into the full pages and into the bar lines. So we get to hear their music, see their lives, and really explore the rich tapestry of people who contributed to the world of music during this time.
Amazing. Thank you, Katie Beth. If you want to get in touch with us, we have an email address. Emily, if you'll put that into the chat so that if people want to reach out for any reason, they can. And we, again, thank you all for being here and joining us and supporting this work, and for purchasing Beyond the Box. If you are so inclined, we are very grateful. So thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful Monday night. We hope to see you all tomorrow night for Dr. Paula Maust's virtual session on Baroque women composers, and have a great night. Thanks, everyone.